the man himself. Soon I hope to be a Conservative Member of Parliament and Cabinet Minister, the one and only Nigel Farage.
Jacob, thank you.
Well, for both of us, and particularly for you, this has never actually been about office. It's about ideas, and it's about how you make this country as strong as it deserves to be.
Yes, I never entered politics for a career, far from it. I gave a career up to do politics, indeed as you did in many ways. Look, I've said for years that Jacob Rees Mogg and I should be in the same party. It's always seemed ridiculous to me that we were in different political parties because you and I think alike on many, not everything, but many, many issues. And fundamentally, you know, we're patriotic, we believe in borders, we believe in sovereignty, we believe in the little man and woman being given half a chance to go out and create businesses and do their own thing. So we're at one on this. The problem here is twofold. Firstly, I think you underestimate the level of contempt that is felt for the Conservative Party, especially post-2019. It is a sense of betrayal, and the big one is immigration. The sheer scale of change that is happening in our communities. You think Blair was bad? Try this for size. Try this for size. The Conservative Party allowed more people to settle in this country in 2022 and 2023 than came from 1066 to 2010.
I know, it was, 1.4 million net in 2 years.
Yes.
It is an astonishing
net, no,
figure.
Gross 2.7.
Right, but net 1.4.
Well, remember,
yes.
net
is
a lot of British people retiring to Spain or moving abroad.
It's also students getting home and things like that.
But the numbers are stunning.
I agree.
The numbers are stunning. And I think that Brexit voters, and particularly the UKIP type Brexit voters, who for the first time in their lives voted Conservative in 2019, they feel an absolute sense of betrayal. That's the first problem that makes any pact of any kind unlikely to win. You know, if it was possible, it might mitigate the level of disaster. But the other problem is this. I can sit and chat with you about these things, and I've got other friends on your wing of the Conservative Party who we campaign with in Brexit and everything else. You are, Jacob, not amongst the members, not amongst the voters, but within the Parliamentary Party, you are outnumbered 3 or 4 to 1. You do not represent the centre of gravity of the current Conservative Parliamentary Party.
The thing that seems to me to mitigate against all of this is that if you were to be a leading figure within the Conservative Party, there would be absolute reassurance that at last we were serious about migration. You could not be in a Conservative cabinet that wasn't doing it properly.
Unless we were continuing the con on the British people.
But then you wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't do it.
That in terms of the Parliamentary Party, dare I say that most members of Parliament of all parties actually want to win their seat at the next election. I think the number who are avowedly pro-European and resent the Brexit result is actually quite small. And that if the Prime Minister were to take a lead on this, now that may be a big if, there is a real opportunity because it's where the nation is. You see, you said we should both be in the same party. And I think if we were both in the same party, what we are offering to the electorate is what a plurality of voters want. It would win a majority and could then be implemented.
The difference is I'm in a party, albeit honorary president, that I agree with. You're in a party that you disagree with.
Well, I agree with all the members of the Conservative Party.
But you disagree with policies.
There are elements.
You disagree with net zero. You disagree with what they've done on legal migration. You disagree with...
legal migration, I'm glad to say, is being changed. And we are getting that under control.
There's no evidence to support that whatsoever.
There has been.
I've been hearing this for the last 2 years.
But I think some of the changes last year...
The boats are still coming. The boats are up 20% this year so far.
Look, absolutely accept that. In terms of net zero, we've got to delay net zero indefinitely. It is a failed policy.
Jacob, that's your view.
You're absolutely right, but it's an increasing view amongst Conservatives. Because it's not working. And the Conservative Party...
How would you sum up the last 14 years of Conservative government? Marks out of 10. What would you say, Jake?
Well, there are different periods and different bits, but we got the referendum to leave the European Union. The biggest...
Not something the Conservatives wanted to do. They were forced to do it from the outside.
The Conservative members and voters wanted it, though.
Yep.
And you see, I think it's trusting the people is the heart of the politics that you and I represent. That the combined wisdom of the electorate is greater than that of Whitehall and of the Palace of Westminster. The people wanted Brexit. And actually, for all sorts of criticisms you would like to make of him, David Cameron gave us the referendum. He was willing to trust the people. He may have hated the result.
He was scared out of his life of what UKIP was doing to his vote. He was scared of defections happening. He didn't want to do it. He never wanted to do it. And then we had a period where your party gave us a Prime Minister that, frankly, willfully tried to vandalise it. I mean, you've got to accept, Jacob, the record is ghastly.
There are problems with the record.
Apart from Brexit,
there are definitely problems.
Apart from Brexit, what have you achieved in 14 years?
Well, I think Ian Duncan Smith did a great deal with reform of welfare, and I think that Michael Gove's reforms of education, which are still yielding fruit 14 years on, were tremendously important. So there are big things that have been done. Employment is higher than it's ever been, pretty much.
And so are people opting out of employment and living on benefits.
And that's absolutely right.
There's no point. There's no point you and I arguing about policy.
But
right?
we want to change that.
My point is this. A Prime Minister in Rishi Sunak, perfectly decent man, intelligent man, a man that brings back David Cameron, as Foreign Secretary, is not even going to contemplate talking to Richard Tice. What
would it take for you to come back to the Tory party?
A Tory party.
So we want the same thing.
A Tory party, not the old school Tory party, but the radical new form of conservatism that embraces people from all classes,
yields
from
the promises
all different
of
parts,
Brexit.
and actually gives the people of this country half a chance, and is unashamed about putting the British people before international agreement.
Yes, and is proud of our history.
Of course, all of those things. And I think we're miles away from that at this moment in time.
You see, I think the majority of Conservative members are there, the majority of Conservative voters are there.
I agree.
And we just need to put this coalition together. And it has
I came to your conference. You
were mobbed.
I was mobbed by Conservative activists, donors, members, but most of your colleagues walk past me and turn their heads to the side.
Well, I certainly didn't. We're almost there. We are getting a huge progress being made with me and Nigel negotiating how